Hey guys, so glad you joined us today. Hope you're having a great week. Tonight's message is going to come from 1 Kings chapter 16. We're going to begin in verse 29. The reason why we're here is we're trying to have a groundwork for our next series that we're going to begin that is entitled Altars, where we're going to learn how we can be an altar for God. But before we can begin that series, we need to kind of lay down some groundwork of what's happening in the text that we're going to be going into. So, some of the background information. We see that our text is going to be around or be talking about the prophet of Elijah. But we see that Elijah is living in the reign of a king named Ahab. Now, to describe Ahab, there's only one good word for him, and that is a dirtbag, which you're going to see in our text tonight. He is not a good person, and he's not a great person. He's definitely not a person that is seeking the will of God in his life. And we're going to see that from our text in 1 Kings chapter 16. But before we get there, I just want to ask you a question. This is a little bit of a trivia question, and I hope you know the answer. The question is this: what is the capital of Florida? I'll give you a couple of seconds. Don't Google it. Just guess. What is the capital of Florida? Now, if you said Tallahassee, you are absolutely correct. If you said anything else, you need to go to a map. So the capital of Florida is Tallahassee, and we see what happens in Tallahassee is all of our legislative policies and everything that our Floridian government, I guess you could say, all that centers in Tallahassee, and we see all the laws are made in Tallahassee. The same thing with Washington, D.C. You see all the political policies come out of Washington, D.C. Today or tonight or whenever you're watching this, we are going to see how Ahab has taken the northern kingdom. We talked about that last week. We know that the kingdom of Israel is split up into two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. They both have their own capitals. And we see we're in the northern kingdom this week, which capital is Samaria. And we see that Ahab has taken the northern kingdom and has turned it to a pagan god, and he has set up a altar and also a house in the capital city to this pagan god. But let's read so that you know exactly what I'm talking about and you know I'm telling the truth. So we are in 1 Kings chapter 16 verse 29. It says this: and in the 38th year of Asa king of Judah began Ahab the son of Omri to reign over Israel. And Ahab, the son of Omri, reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. And Ahab, the son of Omri, did evil in the sight of the Lord above all that were before him. And it came to pass, as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, that he took to wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Zidonians, and went and served Baal and worshipped him. And he reared up an altar. He built up an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. And Ahab made a grove, and Ahab did more to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel that were before him. So, you want to talk about a dirtbag. Ahab is this dirtbag. He did everything in his own sight. He did everything that he wanted to do, and it distanced him between God, to the point where he has taken this false god, this pagan god Baal, and he has set up a worship center to Baal in the capital city of Israel. Israel being that place where the followers of God, these people that were supposed to be following God, was supposed to be God's nation. Ahab the king has taken a false god and placed him into their capital city. Now, how can we relate to that? How can we kind of take that and apply it to our life? Well, it's very simple. Where's your capital city in your life? It begins right up here. All your actions, everything that you do starts right up here. You think about every action that you're about to do. Now, if this is not centered on God, if this is not focused on God, guess what? You are most likely outside of the will of God, because we can put false idols in here, and when we do that, we can see that our actions begin and tend to lean towards the worship of those false idols. Now, are you saying, Brother Cody, that I serve Baal, the pagan god? No, I'm not saying that. But there are certain things that you can put in your life that are kind of like that. Some people, they worship money. They worship their funds. Some people worship lust, the things of flesh, the things that some people look at different things and lust after them. Some people, they worship their jobs. They worship their status. They worship their power. They worship whatever they have. They worship it in anything that is before God in our life and is our quote unquote God. That is idolatry. We're putting things before God. And we see Ahab here, he is doing that. And we see Ahab goes to the point of destroying the altars of the true God, of Jehovah God, so that nobody could worship him. Now, here's the thing. In our lives, sometimes we can do this. We can put gods before God. And sometimes God has to kind of give us that little bit of a, hey, listen, you're doing this. Hey, look what you're doing. And sometimes punishment comes our way to bring us back to God. But here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to pray to God this week. Before this week ends, I pray that you will pray to God and ask Him if there is anything that is an idol in your life, that He would take it away from you. What are some of those things? Well, sometimes I hear people say, well, Brother Cody, God has brought this job into my life, and it's just amazing, but I have to work on Sundays and Wednesdays. The Lord has brought this relationship into my life, but they don't really go to church, so I don't really want to make them feel awkward and bring them to church. Here's the truth. God is not going to bring anything into your life that will take you away from Him. That's hard facts to take. That God's not going to bring anything into your life that will cause for you to fall away from Him. So go by that standard. Is there anything in your life that is taking you away from God? And I pray that you pray about those things, and when God reveals them, you do something about it. Now, is that hard? Of course. Of course that's hard. Of course that's not easy. Of course that makes kind of an awkward situation. But I guarantee you, if you take care of the idols first, you will be amazed what God can do in your life. So, don't be an Ahab. Don't be a dirtbag. Love the Lord and put Him first in your life, and you will be amazed what He will do in your life. Y'all have a great day, guys.